All right, today we're going to be taking a look at the Ghosts and Goblins New Wave Toys RepliCade. This is one of their latest releases. They were kind enough to send one over to me for review. Anxious to check this out. Not so anxious to die repeatedly though, because this is a notoriously difficult game to play. Bullcrap! Oftentimes confused with its sequel, Ghouls and Ghosts. Ghosts and Goblins was the original OG, basically adventure game where you, Arthur, the Silver Knight, goes out there and tries to rescue your precious Princess Prin, which is one of the absolutely silliest names I've ever heard. But as with all New Wave Toys products, they do an amazing job packaging these things for collectors. It comes in a box within a box. The other shell box that this comes in, I always appreciate because it looks like a shipping carton that you would get a arcade machine or a pinball machine. So if you've ever ordered one of those products and got them new in box before, that's kind of what they look like. We got the side profile of the cabinet here. We got the little selling features. We have a coin op feature, which is one of the first iterations of this from New Wave Toys, where previously you'd be able to push in the coin door buttons and that's how you would add credit. You can physically add little teeny tiny quarters to this to add your credits, which is absolutely hilarious to me. Opening up, some nice little hidden artwork there on the inside. Beautifully packaged as always. In the bag of accessories, we have our operator's manual, or basically instruction manual, but it's made to look like the old school operator's instruction manuals that would come with games back in the day. We also have some interchangeable joystick toppers, so you get green, white, blue, and black. We got loads and loads of teeny tiny faux quarters. Definitely make sure you don't lose these, because yeah, they are microscopic. In fact, most of you will probably need tweezers to be able to put it in the machine. Then we have this faux power cable. Basically, you're going to plug it into the back of the machine down here where it says power. And again, this is faux. This is just for aesthetics. This is really just to drive home the look and feel of arcade authenticity, because you would have a giant behemoth power cable to plug in an actual arcade cabinet machine. So that is a new feature that they have added. And on the coin buttons right here, your left side, you're going to be able to put in the teeny tiny quarters. Your right side is going to be closed off. Both of these are illuminated, but basically this is going to be the side that you're going to use the quarters for if you want to insert credits, or if you don't want to mess with the teeny tiny quarters, you just go ahead and push this button several times and that'll insert credits that way. On the back side here, we have two USB ports right here. That way you can plug in your joystick controllers. Definitely advisable because this game is notoriously difficult in its normal full-size arcade standard setup. Making it even smaller makes this game even that much more difficult. So plug in your USB controllers there. USB-C charging port, your HDMI out here. So it doesn't come with an HDMI cable, but it's 2023. Who doesn't have an extra HDMI cable laying around? So you're gonna plug that into your favorite TV or monitor, and that way you control the game. Got a big speaker here, fake little padlock down here. Up top, you have your LED battery light indicator, your volume wheel up and down, as well as your power button. Now this does have the CRT 2.0 upgraded lens effect. So essentially they've got a beveled lens that covers the LCD screen that kind of makes it look contorted and gives it really that look of an old school CRT monitor. Obviously you can't make teeny tiny CRT monitors that'll go in this on an economical scale anymore these days. So we have an LCD in there, which is standard for the Replicades, but all in all, this thing looks the part of an actual authentic arcade machine. I mean, it's gorgeous. Examining the cabinet itself, we have our joystick front and center, and then we have ambidextrous buttons. So we've got jump and fire on the left as well as jump and fire on the right. We've got our player 1, player 2 buttons. And you can open this lower coin door. There's a little tiny box in here. Even has a nice little handle for you to pull out. And there you go. That's where your cash box would be for your quarters. That's where they're all going to land once you put them in there. Very, very cool design. The cabinet paint itself, if you will. A lot of people online I see were griping about the color scheme. To me, this is a navy blue. I've seen people call it purple. I mean, different lighting conditions, obviously you're going to get a different kind of sheen to it. But to me, this is what I would qualify as navy blue. Artwork looks great. The vinyl decal, there's no smudging, there's no blurriness to the graphics. Everything looks vibrant with the colors and everything. It's positioned and aligned on both sides exactly where it needs to be. One's not higher than the other, which is great. That's something I can easily see probably mess it up at the factory, but they did a good job with that. Our marquee looks gorgeous. Illuminated marquee that you can turn on or off in the settings menu if you wish, but it's not washed out. Color's nice and vibrant. I mean, it's probably looking washed out with multiple lights here in the studio, but to me in person it looks great. There's no blurriness, there's no lines and print, and just, I mean, overall it's a good looking quality print job, especially around the bezel of the monitor itself. Looks great, but let's go ahead and check out these settings, and then we'll go ahead and hook this up to a TV and get to playing it. All right, to access our menu, we're going to be doing it a little bit differently. We're going to hold our player 1 and player 2 buttons down. There we go. We have our options of changing the difficulty. You can move it up and down with the joystick. Your screen brightness, right now it's defaulted just kind of halfway. I can tell you right now, you can move that difficulty all the way over to easy and you're still going to have a hard time. But by default, it's just there on the normal setting, but it goes all the way to 2 extreme difficulties for those people that just love torture. Let's go down. Like I said, you can turn the arcade marquee on or off. So if for whatever reason you don't like the LED illuminated marquee, you can turn that off. You can add scan lines to it, really drive home that arcade authenticity look. You can change the amount of lives you have. So we're starting with 3, we can go up to 4, 5, 7, you name it, because you're definitely going to need some help with this game. Bonus scoring, you change that, as well as your track mode audio, you can turn it on or off. So if you have this thing powered on but you don't have a game started, you can have the sounds going on in the background, or if you don't like that, you just want it in silence, you can definitely do that. And of course, one of the best features is that you can select between both games, Ghouls and Ghosts or Ghosts and Goblins, whichever one suits your fancy. You can play both of them on either one of the machines that New Wave Toys has created. And to get out of the menu once you're done, you're just going to hold player 1 and player 2 down again. Restarts it, saves your changes, and you're good to go. All right, I have the arcade plugged into a HDTV via the HDMI on the backside. The moment you plug it into HDMI, you lose your screen control, or at least your screen visibility on the arcade itself. One cool, neat feature is, even though I have a USB controller plugged in, this is a Power A Xbox One style USB controller, I can use the USB controller, or I can use the built-in joystick, should I wish to. Even though it is playable on the tiny joystick and everything, it is just incredibly difficult to be precise with everything going on the screen as far as your fast motions and everything you got to do to be successful at this game. But once I plugged in the controller, I didn't have to map anything. My D-pad automatically works. My analog thumbstick automatically works. My A and B buttons for jump and fire. So I mean, it's a pretty seamless experience. One thing I will note, and this is probably going to differ between everybody's televisions, but as you can see, we got some of the scoring cropped off there. Well, that's just a TV setting. That's really not an issue with the RepliCade itself. So I just have to open up my menu, go down to what I would call picture settings, advanced settings, and basically I have to just change the picture size. Right now it's defaulted on auto. Once I change it to direct, bada bing, bada boom, everything is resolved. There's no more cropped off score, everything is sized proportionally, and as you can see, this is the 4:3 aspect ratio. It's not stretched to 16:9 or anything like that. Here we have a look at these scan lines on an HD TV. The appearance of the scan lines is pretty subtle, especially on an HD TV. It's much more apparent when you have it actually on the arcade itself and you're not outporting the video display out to a bigger screen. Like I said, on the 2.0 lens that they've got here on their CRT effect on the arcade itself, it just looks so much better over here than it really does over there. Guys, that does it for this video review of the Ghosts and Goblins RepliCade from New Wave Toys. Like I said, they also do have the Ghouls and Ghosts arcade if you're interested. I'll put product links down in the video description box below. If you enjoyed the content, make sure you hit that like button. Share this video with your friends if you found the information helpful. And as always, thanks for watching, guys. It really means a lot.